Who knows whether 2029, 2036, or in the near future, you could be the next president of Liberia. That's for sure. So, but you have to put into action like this with Liberian people. You have to reach that boundary between Liberian people in the current dispensation. I have a few questions for you as we see on one. After the 2018 elections that brought former President Weah, Mr. Kuwor was very vocal on the Weah administration. Fast forward 2024 up to 2025, Mr. Cummings has either been very silent or tightly. What's the matter? Most of you have not been heard as per all of the unfoldings in Liberian current political system. Two, what position do the Liberian people expect of a Cummings in 2029? Do you still cling on to the presidency or contest the presidency, or have you given up on your ambition to be president of Liberia? Three, the Liberian election have long passed since 2023. Have you reached out to your colleagues? Some of your colleagues in the opposition, mind you now, those who are in governance are now in opposition. Have you reached out to them to form a united front in confronting some of the vices that Liberian people are currently facing as to provide a better alternative 2029? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I think then he answered it because I think that was three. Yeah, three.
Let me see if I can remember all of
Yeah.
So Sam, thank you for your presence. Let me try. If I forget, then you remind me. So thank you for your presence, and we appreciate your comments. On the question regarding, I was very critical of President Weah early on, and now I've been quiet. So the observation is correct. But I asked myself, I'm not sure it did me any good being so critical. I'm joking a little bit, but I'm serious too. Very aggressive, very critical, and I got 1%. So maybe I just be quiet and I will get 20%. We can't keep doing this. City expect different results, right? No, but more seriously, part of it was deliberate. To say, look, Liberia is challenged as a country. Whoever gets that job, to give them some time to figure things out. And so we wanted to give the UP government, President Butler, some time. But look, we will start to engage some more, right? We will start to have more of these interactions and more of these discussions. But your observation is correct. Part of the response is we were deliberate, but now we need to turn up the heat a little bit. The comment and question about the media team, I think you're right. We have a big opportunity there. It ties to the Jackson comment about the messaging and conveying, right? So we will challenge the media folks to become more effective in doing that. The question about reaching out to other political actors, again, I have not done that yet. Maybe it's part of this process of just stepping back and watching, observing, and see what's going to happen. I want to be careful too about how we do it. We were also aggressive in 2020. In 2018, you recall that about the CPP and we got engaged to collaborate. That backfired. They ended up taking me to court, trying to tarnish my reputation, lied on me, even on the oath. So I'm being careful now how I think about collaboration. We have to collaborate. So let me just make that point. But we just have to be more careful and cautious and more deliberate about how we go about doing that. And so we haven't done that yet, but again, at the right time we'll start to re-engage, but we're going to do it differently because we were burned by prior collaborations we have. We went in with good intent, and I would say most of the other folks did not. So I think I got all the questions, right? Yes.
Yeah, one left. How do you expect to
So My answer to that, I would say it depends on the library. And let me explain why I say that. I'm interested, I'm willing, I'm able to make the sacrifice to get involved, but I also want to know if others, if there's a spark, if there's enough interest, if I can start to break through in terms of the messaging. If the Cummings team can start to do that, because if we can't do those things, then we'll get the same outcome, get the same results. And we're going to do the work to try to make sure that happens. I also would say to you, Sam, that look, that's 4.5 years ago. I know people want you to be actually running for president. I'm not sure that makes sense. And I'm not sure it worked in the past either. The fact is, I am not a new entity. The ANC is not known, the designer company is not known, so we're not starting from scratch. So if I start to get more active next year, I will be enough time. There's still time to go, right? But in the meantime, we'll start to engage more, we'll start to have more conversations, and then we'll gauge the reaction. People, and that will ultimately make that conversation. Okay?
Okay, so as we said from the beginning, you know that we're taking only 4, and one also will have 3. So we'll take you, and we'll take you, then one more. We'll take you first.
Thank you. All right, so good afternoon, Honorable Zanabi Cummings. So today I'm very grateful to have the message I need to know from the horse's mouth, because most time I'm being told of your vision for this nation through Dr. Richardson when I listen to Spoon Talk. So my question is going to be targeting 3 major components. One is trade and investment. How do you have a strategy in place that will help Liberia in terms of our trade and investment? And most especially, I want to look at the way in which you will try to approach our public debt management. Because every now and then a new government comes to power with a huge debt crisis and debt crisis. And last of all, I will like you to tell us, like you spoke about the Paco Bible business, that is the youth and entrepreneurship. What are some of the plan of action that the ANC will bring to play that will help youth and entrepreneurs to have a smooth business environment that will put us in line or par with our foreign brother like the Lebanese and Indians? Thank you.
So I think it's also 3.
So, you know, on the question of trade and investment, I think I answered a little bit earlier about creating the right environment so that business people can feel confident that when they invest, they will get a return. So the tax environment, the regulatory environment, the judiciary environment, all those things we gotta fix. We gotta focus on particular sectors. So today I mentioned we put everything on soil, we put everything we eat. We got to focus on agriculture and talk about trade and investment. So how do we grow the agriculture sector? So we can become a net exporter of agricultural products in addition to feeding ourselves. I mentioned earlier, maybe I emphasized we need to look at tourism. Tourism is a great job creator. We got lots of beaches, we got the rainforest, we need to invest in tourism. That will bring foreign money to our country, people will come to see Liberia. So the combination of all of those things and more is how we'll improve the investment climate. And again, if people have confidence in the leadership of the country, in the economic management of the country, in the judicial system, they see the opportunities in agriculture, in tourism, in other sectors, that's how you will get people to come and invest in our country and we'll begin to export. On the question of the debt, look, our debt is not at an unsustainable level yet, right? And by the way, if you use debt in the right way, it can grow your business, grow your economy. Financing debt is not a bad thing. If you're taking on debt to pay salaries, big mistake. It will not work. If you're taking on debt to build infrastructure, invest in agriculture, etc., you will generally not be able to pay your debt back, right? So we just gotta be smart about our debt. And if we grow in the economy, we grow our revenue to be able to pay off the debt. Right? So those pieces work together. And what was the third question? Youth and entrepreneur. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm sure you 35 or less, you guys make up the girls and the women make up the majority of the population of Nigeria. And so when we focus on job creation, it will benefit the young people. When we talk about, in fact, we mentioned in our manifesto about a youth corps. And I think President Bwaka for the UP also mentioned a youth corps. They need to do it as a means again of getting youth employed, getting them active, and getting some money into their hands to support themselves and their families. That's what we will do. But the whole business environment, it will be focused on not just big businesses, but small businesses, entrepreneurs, providing loans for them. Again, I think President Leah, in 2 different State of the Nation addresses, said they will make money available for market women, for Nigerian business. They didn't do it. President Bwaka should do it. Because that's how you help. If Paco wants to expand his business, if he can go and borrow money at a very affordable rate, invest, grow his business, pay it back, you create a virtuous cycle, right? So those are things that we suggested. Prior government said it would do, they never did it. It's not too big. This government can still do it and should target that funding again as small entrepreneurial businesses. So again, examples of things we can do differently to help the business environment and help young people become successful.
Thank you. So we're taking.
Àwọn mẹ́ àṣọ fífún wa. Lẹ́kọ̀ọ́tẹ́ làbọ̀ sí wọ̀. Yọ́ bí bíbí yọ́ bí mẹ́lá mi. Làbọ̀ wọ́n wá bí a. Àṣàṣù ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣù. Àtọ́mọ̀ máa sẹ́. Kọ́mẹ́ sí wọ́n fọ ọbẹ̀ yọ́ bí òjò tí sọ́kà ọ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ fà ọ́ sẹ́. Àtàlẹ̀ kọ́mẹ̀ ẹ̀dá kúmi àbítò yìí. Àṣàṣù bẹ́ẹ̀ náà. Écoutez la voix to be better for you to pouvoir donner des chances, de pouvoir donner des chances. Avant ça, tout ça. Avant ça, tu ne vas pas faire. On ne peut pas faire possible. À nous-mêmes, en tout cas, ça doit être job, notre job. À tout moment, vous êtes attention. Mais donc, à plus de nous, la pluie, la bonne taille, ça de quartier, pour mettre la bonne, one to play the game. That you tell me what you have to do.
Association International Center where the ANC political leader Alexander B. Cummings.
I think call it a day.
ANC political leader. Speak to me.
Yeah, so what we wanted to do right after the 5 minutes or less. Yeah. Okay.
Just 5 minutes. All right.
So you responded to your point?
Yes. No, I just want to thank you for his confidence. We appreciate your resistance. And we listen to Liberian people. And if it's the will of our people that become leader, we will follow the will of the people. And your voice is one of those voices that we'll listen to, determining whether or not we will run again. Something that we're willing to do, we want to do, we're presently doing, but I also want to see that things are different. That's my introduction now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let me, look, we will come back and this will not be the last time we'll come. Sure. This is not the first time. I think it's my third time. Yeah. So I consider myself an honorary forehead. Yes. And we'll come back and take it.
Lola!
Before I get my file, remind the MC as a question.
Cummings, what happened is, I and my friends were working. We might do one. Let's do something. So they were discussing a boat reading about Gambisa boat. What the dead is. Economists are taking the red apple. And one of the key points to talk about how aid is not helping Africa, most especially sub-Saharan Africa, where again we West Africans dependents sit down in the West. Credit union at one part, but then we're looking up to them for solution. You are fighting for the presidency. What will you do that with this abuse, the mentality of aid or dependency syndrome, that will motivate the society that we can do it on their own in this country, a better place? For example, like the bulldozer from Tanzania, they did make a folly, who said they say no, the aid need to stop at certain level, then our people do that. And Tanzania became a little nation, and we now go to China for Mao Zedong, where we China at a certain level, and we want that. Because one of the problems I see, most Nigerians don't have the West input. What expert thought process do you have? This is about the time that we Nigerians can believe in ourselves, to develop the country, to practice, to invest in methodology for our own path.
So, the question of aid, the fact is that the West, your point, whether it's the Americans or the Europeans, they're all cutting back the aid. In fact, the Americans have completely shut down USAID. And by the way, it's their right to do it, it's their money. They don't have to give it to Africans, to us, to anybody. It's their taxpayers, their citizens, their money, and they can choose to give it or not. So I'm not critical of the Americans. I think the British also are sick of cutting back, and others will do the same. And it's okay, that's their money. But I think by them doing that would force us, actually, we will have a choice to become more self-sufficient. In fact, I think it's a good thing. Look, in the short term, it will be painful. In the short term, it will affect our healthcare, infrastructure, agriculture, to support farmers, small business. It will have a negative impact. And that's not a good thing. I feel bad about that. But in the long term, it will force us to be less dependent on them and to be more self-sufficient, to focus on ourselves. This is why we gotta grow the economy. We gotta stop the stealing. We gotta invest in agriculture. We gotta invest in tourism. We gotta do these things so that we can generate our own money. Our own money. And do things for ourselves and not be dependent on others. Whether it's the West or even the Chinese. If people want to now run from the West, run to the Chinese, we shouldn't do that. We should be self-sufficient, independent. And again, unfortunately, they're cutting back. They will have short-term pain, but long-term, I think it's a good thing for us as a continent, as a people, to reduce our dependence on them and let them keep the money left and generate our own money. All right? So again, look, thank you. We appreciate all of you. Where I started before, Liberia deserves better. Let's have hope. I know it's difficult, but if we make the right choices, we make the right decisions, we can have a better future in Liberia, and that's what we want to see. So thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
So that's the voice of
So thanks to everyone.
It's Alexander B. Cummings, the political leader of the Alternative National Congress.
He spoke lengthily. He gave his thought process on issues, how he thinks this country can become a better nation. And we have much I do. Before we go to the next item on the agenda, Mr. Cummings, the leadership made a request to me, and they gave that position. But we need a statement from you in regards to that. Then we can have the full
So what was the?
So send me something in writing. Send me something in writing and for reaction.
So, in regards to that,